Okay, we're getting ready for week 2 of the SWAC spring schedule. A little MEAC action this weekend as well, but let's put a button on what was week 1. Jackson State with the big win over Edward Waters, but if you turned on your TV, if you went online, everyone's talking about who stole Deion's stuff. That was a thing, and somehow, go figure, HBCU Gameday and our Twitter and Stephen J. Gaither is all in the middle of it. So let's put that to bed today by telling you exactly what happened, because a lot did happen after the game. Stephen J. Gaither joining us from Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta, but he's just at a hotel because he stopped to crash for the night on the way back from Mississippi. Stephen, it's been a long weekend for you. Tell everybody exactly what went down after the game in Jackson.
Yeah, TC. So after the game, that presentation on the field, it was a W.C. Gordon Classic. The coach, legendary coach, who brought the red first. And so everybody was excited. Trophy presentation. They did the alma mater. Deion's out there, put with his one up. Obviously touched about the moment, excited about his first win as a head coach. So we get back to the media room, and the players come in. They're excited. And everybody, every time the door opens, everybody's waiting to see if Deion's there. Everybody's head turns over to the side. So finally he walks in. He walks, people are standing, people are sitting. I was standing. He actually walked right by me and walked by me and said to everybody, it's going to be the best press conference, the greatest press conference you've ever been in. And it definitely was one for the books. So he, started off and just said, that he was pissed. And, Deion Sanders did an interview with the 1400 Club podcast over there at Jackson State, where he said he doesn't really curse, hadn't cursed since the 80s. So pissed was a pretty indication that we were in for some interesting discussion. So long story short, you guys have seen the interview by now. As soon as he said it, I really wanted to just run outside the door and tweet, if you know me. But the reception was bad, and so just kept filming. But obviously, I placed the call into you. So, and when Luke and I went and talked about it afterwards, we were kind of the situation that it had been stolen. We recorded the entire thing. So Luke goes up to retrieve his things. I'm down on the field, get some selfies for the gram, Veterans Memorial Coliseum. You got to do it. So then the word comes down that Deion's stuff, Coach Prime stuff, has not been wasn't stolen. It's been found, and that it wasn't stolen. It was misplaced. So that was the word that came down from the press box on high at Jackson State, and myself and the rest of the media members, as we rushed to get it out, we rushed to make sure that we had the most accurate information that was possible based on what we were given. So that's what we left the stadium with, the information that it wasn't stolen. It was a misplacement from the officials there. So we go get something to eat. And I'm as we're going, I'm tweeting, trying to give some context, because it made sense to me how Deion, Coach Prime, is his first game as the head coach at Jackson State University, his first game at the Vet. Maybe there was, operation that he didn't know about, or he didn't, it's been a hectic week down there in Jackson anyway, and they haven't had a game since 2019. So everybody's kind of trying to make this thing work, and a lot of pieces are moving really fast. So, maybe it was a mix up. It happened. So that's kind of what I went to on my Twitter and asked Stephen J. Gaither and tweeted about. And, got something to eat and got off the phone. And little did I know that Coach Sanders, Coach Prime, as he likes to be called, had responded directly to my tweet and said, no, it was in fact stolen, that a assistant of his saw that his stuff was being taken, but she was a woman. Apparently it was a man, and there was little that could be done about it. So but by this point, the story was already everywhere that it had been stolen. And I think my guy Reggie Flood down in Baton Rouge told everybody that at one point that story was second only to Kim Kardashian and Kanye West breaking up and getting filing for divorce. So not very often that you see that in HBCU football or anybody else, and that was on TMZ. So
let me ask you this. Do you feel, two questions here. Do you feel that Deion Sanders understands maybe more today than he did yesterday that whenever something goes left at an HBCU, it can get extremely large, oftentimes larger than the football game or the basketball game or whatever. No matter how great that athletic contest might have been or how high the stakes might have been. And do you think Jackson State also has a better understanding that, man, if somebody steals, my stuff, nobody cares. But anything that happens to Deion Sanders can become like an international thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, how I feel. The thing about it is, if anybody would have, you just think about yesterday in totality, it was Jackson State playing Edward Waters, two historically black colleges, on a Sunday in February 21. Kind of the most random games you would ever see, right? If the coach of Jackson State was not Deion Sanders, ESPN3 might still do the game, but probably not. It's not even a SWAC game. But obviously the people that were there, you had all your other outlets that don't necessarily cover HBCUs on a daily basis. People were there to see a show. We got a show. Part of it was on the field and part of it was after the game where the show really started. But I mean, I think if any coach, it was not Deion Sanders in the SWAC or MEAC or most of FCS or FBS football said, hey, my stuff got stolen while I was at a game, the local media would definitely talk about it. National media, because it's a HBCU, probably would jump on it, but would it be the second tier story on TMZ? Clearly not. So this is an example, like I wrote in the piece detailing today, that Deion Sanders, what the star power that he brings, very few people in sports, period, could do that. And he is one of those people. And we saw yesterday, as soon as he said it out of his mouth, my stuff has been stolen. Like, I already knew it was going to be big. Did I expect it to be as big as it was? Man, it's a lot. And so, it's a situation where, if you're a Jackson State perspective, you probably wish that Coach Sanders would have, talked with the AD and kind of at least everybody got the story together about what happened. They figured it out.
Because Jackson State didn't want, they didn't want this. They wanted the conversation about the game. They did not want a conversation about who stole Deion's stuff.
Yeah, nobody wanted that. I don't think that I don't think that anybody wanted that at all. But it just shows that how things can turn on a dime. We've seen Coach Sanders be on Good Morning America. We've seen him on Fox Sports. And we've seen so many great things, that number one FCS class. So they've gotten a lot of great publicity off of it. This is one of those things, you and I are both creators, and we spend a lot of time in Premiere and Photoshop. And what happens when you raise that exposure level? Yeah, you can see everything really good and really clear. And some stuff, it exposes things that we would rather not want to see. And I think that Sunday was an indication of that, was a situation of that. And I think it's something that Jackson State and any HBCU would have to adjust for, just on the scale of how quickly that this story will move, because Deion Sanders is its coach.
Does Jackson State have to lean into the reality, I'm going to call it, that they are in a reality show with Deion Sanders as their head coach? And I don't mean that in a demeaning way, but I mean, he's literally filming a reality show. He's been famous forever, and people care if he puts ketchup or mustard on his hot dog. They care about every little thing that he does. Should Jackson State just lean into this right now, Steve?
Here's the thing. Again, it was Deion Sanders' first game as a head coach. And obviously, he's been a pitch man for a long time. It wasn't his first time dealing with the media. He's been a pitch man for a long time. And any football coach is the face of your respective university, athletic department for sure. And a lot of times university. Amplify that 10,000 times by Deion Sanders. And so, that is something that is the reality there at Jackson State now, that the eyes of the world are upon them. And I think maybe, I don't know, maybe even coach underestimated the level of attention that it would get. Because again, I don't think, anybody wanted to overshadow the players or the effort that was put out there. But it definitely is a sign that, again, it's that exposure level, that increased exposure level. You know, you bring it up, you can see all the nice things, and you can also see all of the scratches, the chipness, and all of that stuff as well. So it's just a new reality that they're going to have with Deion Sanders. Right now, it's been way more great than bad, you know. And so we'll talk about it for this cycle, and things will go on. But it's definitely a learning moment for everyone, a moment of higher learning for everybody that was involved.
Well, here's a news flash. If there's anyone at home clutching their pearls, oh my God, there was a robbery. Somebody stole something at an HBCU. What's happening? Man, I've had my stuff stolen. Steve, I don't know if you've ever had anything stolen. Things happen. Your stuff can get stolen at a school, at a home. Heck, people steal from churches. It's part of human nature. If somebody sees something and they're too lazy to get it for themselves, some people just steal. That's just the way life works. But I don't think that it should be like all of a sudden this is a unique experience to HBCUs that there was a theft.
No, I think it's it's a situation, it's a reality we live in 2021. There are, you know, and Coach Sanders talked about it too. He mentioned what I termed boombox gate a couple of months ago, where you know, last month where someone took his boombox, broke into his car, and then you know, he put out the word and he got his boombox back. And he said that that person was just doing what they do. That they were just, you know, doing what they do. He wished they didn't have to do that. But he said he felt like this was a targeted attack on him. And so with that distinction there, it definitely goes on to a larger conversation about that type of thing. Now, of course, the vet is not on campus at Jackson State. It is owned by Jackson State, I believe, but it's not on campus. It's a little bit away from campus. So, you know, the vet's going to have to step up their security, you know, and things are going to have, you know, again, because the eyes of the world are on there. So JSU is definitely going to have to make some adjustments on their end. I think Coach Prime, you know, Coach Sanders is going to have to, you know, realize, see how, you know, how this impacts his program and go from there and see if it's something that turns into being a teachable moment and a turning point, because he, you know, wanted to turn it back to focus to the players. And he obviously did talk about his players, the effort that they put out there. He praised his defense and a lot of things like that. So I think Coach, you know, probably realized at some point it was overshadowing the game and tried to rein it back in. But the tiger was already out of the bag at that point. And so I think everybody learned from it, and we'll see what happens going forward.
Well, I thought it was important for us to have this conversation on a Monday, if for nothing else, that Stephen J. Gaither's tweet was all over ESPN and all in the middle of it. So for us to act like, oh, there's nothing to see here, I don't think that would be fully transparent, which was a big word yesterday, transparency. But I'm definitely ready to move beyond it. We got a big weekend coming up, more HBCU football that we're pretty excited about. Stephen, you and Luke did a great job this weekend. No, it was a long one traveling. You've been through snow, ice, and whatever else, whatever you want to call yesterday. So get some rest, and we appreciate the work, my man.
Yeah, you know, yeah, it's been building since 2012. We're going to keep it pushing.
All right, he's Stephen J. Gaither in Atlanta. Tolly, in Atlanta, you are where you are, and we will see you guys a little later.